Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, the Pollyant Trail Council invites the public to a hearing for electric bikes, an Oxford man launches a fundraising campaign, and a rescue group helps over 600 dogs find homes.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. A new state law allowing electric bicycles on trails has left the Pollyant Trail Management Council wondering what to do. The same law has also given it the power to prohibit, authorize, or regulate use locally. In an effort to learn what citizens and trail users want, the board scheduled a public hearing for 3 p.m. Wednesday, January 17th at the Oxford Township Hall.
A new group in Oxford is aiming to help community members take action against human trafficking operations. After nearly a year of development, the Lake Orion Oxford Community Group, under the Michigan Abolitionist Project, held its first public meeting on January 11th at the Oxford Public Library. The group will continue to host regular meetings on the second Thursday of every month at the Oxford Township Library. Each meeting will be free and open to the public.
On December 27th, a one-year-old Oxford resident finished her chemotherapy, a total of 4 rounds in over 94 days. Last year, Lucy was diagnosed with fatal type hypoblastemia, a very rare type of liver cancer. She has the right side of her liver, which contained 3 malignant tumors, removed in September at Boston Children's Hospital. Her mother, Laura Holt, said that the toddler is now thriving.
Well, the season of giving has just passed, but Oxford resident Justin Wilcock is hoping to gain financial assistance from social media. Wilcock has a medical condition which diminishes 2 of his essential senses, and now he needs the community's help to ensure he doesn't lose what he has left, so he's asking for help. The 38-year-old Oxford Village resident started a GoFundMe page website to raise money to purchase hearing aids. Wilcock was born with an Usher syndrome, a condition that leads to partial or total hearing loss and vision loss that worsens over time due to an eye disease known as retinitis pigmentosa. Wilcock said Medicare will pay up to $1,000 for the $5,000 hearing aids, so he still needs $4,000 from the GoFundMe site.
A 58-year-old Oxford Township man who had not been seen by his neighbor for a couple of months was found dead in his home on January 2nd. The Oakland County Medical Examiner's Office determined the man died of natural causes. According to the sheriff report, the neighbor opened the garage door, kicked open the basement door, and entered the house. Once inside, he found the homeowner on the living room floor, and he called police.
There's no place like home, and later this year, Oxford Orion Fish could have a new one thanks to the generosity of Addison Township resident Dan Davis. Last year, Davis, owner of Royal Roofing in Lake Orion Township, purchased the building which formerly housed Tool Sport and Sign Company. Davis is planning to lease the 5,000 square foot space to Fish so the local nonprofit can use it to house its pantry and offices and conduct other charitable programs such as its annual school backpack drive. Congratulations.
And thanks to Oxford's K9 Stray Rescue League, over 600 dogs found their forever homes in 2017. Lori Stevenson, the group's president, loves the look in the dogs' eyes when they know that they're safe. Founded in 1990, the K9 Stray Rescue League is a state and federally licensed nonprofit group who saves dogs from being euthanized at shelters and accepts those surrendered by owners for various reasons.
Last Friday, January 12th, the Oxford Library hosted the grand opening of the Ernest Hemingway exhibit. The exhibit is on loan from Central Michigan University Historical Society, so don't miss the opportunity to explore the works of Hemingway, some of which are about the state of Michigan due to the summers he spent here with his family. Also, keep an eye on the library website for dates when the speaker from CMU will be here to talk about Ernest Hemingway and the artifacts and the exhibit. Please don't miss it. That's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, you can catch us on our website, occtv.org, on YouTube, and of course our regular cable channel, Charter Channel 191 and AT&T.
Coming up soon, John Ochins with the school news, OCTV's very own Cody Wright with the sports report. And you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Are you a movie buff? A gamer? A fan of music? Or do you just enjoy all things media? Then you should watch Media Maniacs on Monday through Friday at 3:30 and at 11:30 on the weekends, right before the all-night movies. Remember, Media Maniacs. They review everything, and they're just crazy enough to do it.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, you want to eat better? Well, sleep more. Increasing the amount of sleep a person gets has been linked to eating fewer sugary foods and making better nutritional choices. Wendy Hall at King's College and her colleagues invested 42 volunteers to help them investigate the link between sleep and eat. Half of the participants were given advice on how to get more sleep, such as avoiding caffeine before bed, establishing a relaxing routine, and trying not to go to bed too full or too hungry. This advice was intended to help them boost the amount of sleep they each got by 90 minutes a night. The remaining 21 volunteers received no such advice. The team found that those who were given the advice, 86% spent more time in bed, and around half slept longer than they used to. These extended sleep patterns were associated with the average reduction in intake of free sugars of 10 grams a day. People who were getting more sleep also ate fewer carbohydrates. There were no significant changes in diet in the control group. Free sugars include those that were added to foods by manufacturers or during cooking at home, as well as sugars in honey, syrups, and fruit juice. The fact that extending sleep led to a reduction in the intake of free sugars suggests that a simple change in lifestyle may really help people to consume healthier diets, says Hall. This isn't the first time a link between diet and sleep was found. A 2011 study followed more than 1,500 middle-aged people for 6 years and found that those who became obese during that time slept an average of 6.3 hours a night, compared with 7.2 hours in those who kept a healthy body weight. So get those Z's. And up in Alaska, the skeleton of an infant girl who lived in Alaska 11,500 years ago has yielded new evidence for how and when people colonized America, reinforcing the idea that the first settlers came from Siberia. The girl's skeleton was recovered in 2013 from the Upward Sun River, and her whole genome has now been sequenced. Eske Willeseth at the University of Copenhagen in Denmark and his colleagues compared it with genomes from 167 modern populations as well as other ancient genomes. They found that the girl was part of the first known lineage from which the Native Americans originated, dating back 34,000 years ago in Siberia. Around 25,000 years ago, the group acquired new genetic input from Proto-Europeans. The resulting people were the ancestors of all today's Native Americans. And in our last story, something isn't measuring up. For the second time, an extremely precise measurement of the proton's mass is different from its recognized value. It looks like here is a serious flaw somewhere, says Sven Sturm at the Max Planck Institute of Nuclear Physics in Heidelberg, Germany. The issue was raised, first of all, in 2015 when a team led by Edmund Myers at Florida State University measured the difference in masses of the nucleus of a helium-3 atom and a deuteron, that is, the nucleus of a deuterium or heavy hydrogen atom with a single proton bound to it. Both contain 2 protons, 1 neutron, and 1 electron, but because they are bound together differently, their masses are different. Myers' team put the helium-3 and proton deuteron in a magnetic field and measured their spin rates to find their masses. When they subtracted the mass of the helium-3 atom from that of the proton deuteron, the difference was smaller than previous measurements by more than 3 standard deviations, which means such a result has a 0.3% probability of occurring by chance. It could be that either the published masses of the team's measurements for one or more of the fundamental particles was slightly off, but last July, Sturm's team measured the mass of the proton and found it lighter than reported, bringing Myers' results more in line with standard values. Now Myers' team has rerun its experiment with twice the precision, measuring the masses of helium-3 and proton deuteron to 1 part in 10 billion. But with higher precision and the new value of the proton, the discrepancy actually increased to 4 standard deviations. These are the top guys, says Makoto Fujiwara at Triumph, a particle accelerator center in Vancouver, Canada. They have been very careful in nailing down their systematic uncertainties, but it's more than 4 sigma, so that's the puzzling part. No one yet knows the solution to this conundrum. More measurements for the fundamental particles are underway, and a new assessment for the mass of the deuteron is expected later this year. Myers isn't too troubled by his team's finding. It just means that one or more of the reported results have somewhat underestimated errors, he says. And the search goes on. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. One good thing about the holidays is that it prompts a lot of good being done for the less fortunate, and some of it goes beyond the holidays. Take the charity started by young Alex Van Haren about 3 years ago, Scarves for Cozy Kids. They collect scarves, hats, and gloves for kids in need. Alex tells us what prompted him.
Really just my heart, because I saw kids in 3rd grade, and I started this in 4th grade. I saw kids when I was in 3rd grade that just didn't have any clothes, and it just didn't really seem right for me just to stand there and watch them freeze.
So this has been going on for what, 3 years now?
Mm-hmm.
You're in the 6th grade right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, how has it evolved since you started it?
Well, I started with carrying 2 scarves, and I'd give them out every single day. But now we have boxes in every single school where when they get dropped off, the principal gives 2 announcements, one for each week, one for the first 2 weeks, just so kids know that they can come up and take whatever they want.
And here's how it evolved.
Well, I just wanted to start helping more and more, so it just started to grow and grow.
And how did it grow? Just tell me how that happened.
We have volunteers, and then there's also we have volunteers who drop off the things at schools, the boxes at the schools. We have people who knit, and we have people who drop off supplies for the knitting.
And how many people are working on this all together?
I think about 100.
About 100 people. And that's in the whole Oxford School District?
Mm-hmm.
And you have boxes in every school right now, or all the elementaries?
All the elementaries.
I see. Very good. Any idea how many scarves you've collected over this period of time?
I believe that we've given, I'd say a good 2,000, maybe 3,000. But the items that we've given out into the schools, total is about 2,200.
Okay, so this young man from Oxford Middle School has not only spread this to the Oxford elementaries, but to school districts beyond, and he isn't stopping there.
Goals are to get the whole entire country by this nonprofit, just to support everyone who's less fortunate, because I know that there's a lot of people who are less fortunate out there.
Okay, so you've set up a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
Who helped you do that?
My mom.
Ah, And so how are you connecting with other schools about this whole thing?
She emails the principals, and then we get an answer from them if they want the boxes at their school. Believe it or not, one of the schools actually said no at first, and then my mom asked them, well, can we try? And then they said yes.
How many schools outside of Oxford have you been able to put boxes in so far?
I've done the Brandon schools, some Rochester, and all Lake Orion.
That's a lot. Have you had any trouble getting volunteers to help you do this?
No, because people know that there is a way to make a difference. I'm just pretty sure they don't really want to start it by themselves. They just want to do it with someone else because then they know that they can do it.
Daisha Beasley is principal at the Oxford Middle School. This has to blow your mind what Alex Van Haren has been doing. I mean, since the 3rd grade or something like that?
What a special kid. Now, we've only had Alex here at the middle school for just a semester because he's a 6th grader, but he came to us with this open, giving heart, and yes, since he was in 3rd grade, he has been actively being such a contributing member of society.
But I mean, this is almost like fulfilling an IB requirement, isn't it? I mean, reaching out to the community.
Absolutely, and being a risk taker. He's a risk taker.
I mean, the way he's reached out, not just to the school that he started with, but to all the elementaries in our own district and beyond.
And beyond, right. So I don't know if he told you, but he has worked with other elementary schools. He has a Facebook page, and so really that can go globally with his mission.
Have you ever seen anything like that? I mean, you've been in education for a while. Have you ever seen anything with someone so young?
I haven't seen someone so actively involved with charitable work. I don't know of any age. He does things for the Lions Club. He works with St. Jude. His list of charitable organizations that he works with is extensive. And then for someone to start his own, the Scarves for Cozy Kids, that's amazing.
The Leonard Elementary PTO wants your shoes. Jade Kinderman is their treasurer, and she has more.
Okay, the Leonard Elementary PTO is sponsoring a shoe fundraiser where we are collecting gently used shoes that will be sent to a company that then sends them to developing countries for micro-entrepreneurship. The business people will buy the shoes and then they sell them in their country in order to start a business for themselves. So our goal is 2,500 shoes, which will make us a profit of $1,000.
I asked Jade how they learned about this.
It was in a magazine that I get from the PTO. It was an ad in the magazine, and I thought, oh, well, that seems like a good fundraiser that everyone in the school could participate in. It doesn't cost any money because you're just getting used shoes out of your house or contacting friends and asking them for shoes. So I thought, oh, that's an easy way for us to generate some money for the PTO.
They're looking for gently used shoes. Their collection boxes are at the Addison Library and Leonard Elementary School, among others. The drive runs through February 4th. Many stories of giving right here in our district. That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
What's going on, Wildcat fans? Cody Wright here once again with the Sports Report. This week we had quite an exciting schedule, so let's dive in and see how things went for our winter sports season. Well, first off, boys basketball took on Notre Dame Prep here at home. They were a strong team, but we won 2 of the 3 games. Freshmen, they started off the night with a win strong. Final score was 51-43. Then JV struggled a bit and fell by somewhat slim margins, 31-27. And then varsity picked the tempo back up and finished the night off with a win, 58-55. We then turned right back around to our home court again and took on Stony Creek on the 11th. Same as Monday, we won 2 of the 3 games overall. The freshmen winning 55-29, JV falling again 39-37. A very close game, and varsity finishing the night up on a high point, 56-42. On the flip side, the girls basketball team went on the road on the 9th and took on Royal Oak. Overall, we lost 2 of the 3 games. Freshman was a close score, but we fell to a final of 25-24. JV squeaked by with a win, 22-21, and varsity fell hard at the end of the night, 50-28. On the flip side, the boys swim and dive team dove in against Rochester in uncharted waters on the 11th. We came out on top by a heap. Final score of the meet was 114-72. On the 18th, the swim team will be taking on Stony Creek, so mark your schedules and come on out to root for the team. And last but not least, the wrestling team goes on the road and took on Algoric on the 13th at 9 a.m. and then takes on Seaholm at 4 p.m. on the 17th, so mark your calendars for that as well. And that should just about wrap up this week's report. For any more info on these games and more, go to oxfordathletics.org. Plenty of stats, game breakdowns, and upcoming events can all be found right there at oxfordathletics.org. While you're at that, might as well check us out at occtv.org. We post all of our coverage of the events on our YouTube page, along with many other programs we put together just for you. Once again, that is occtv.org. And that should do it for this week's report. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright, and go Wildcats.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Alabama will be the site of a new $1.6 billion Toyota Motor Corporation and Mazda Motor Corporation auto plant, a victory for President Donald Trump, who has prodded manufacturers to build new U.S. factories and threatened tariffs on foreign production, sources said on January 9th. The plant, which will employ up to 4,000 people and produce about 300,000 vehicles a year, will be located in the Huntsville, Alabama region and is a boon to the state, where Toyota has a large engine plant and existing network of automotive suppliers. The new plant, in a state Trump won by 28 points in 2016, could be a political boost to the Republican president, who has urged automakers to build plants in the United States and add jobs. Trump tweeted in March he wants new plants to be built here for cars sold here. The announcement also comes at a time of declining U.S. auto industry sales, so it could exacerbate overcapacity and add pressure to cut prices. Details of an anticipated tax and incentive package for the investment are not yet known. It has been reported that companies sought at least $1.1 billion in incentives. And at Ford Motor Company, Ford expects its first diesel version of its F-150 pickup, which goes on sale this year, to produce a highway fuel economy rating of 30 miles per gallon. The diesel variant, announced last year as part of the F-150's 2018 model freshening, will have a 3-liter Power Stroke engine rated at 250 horsepower and 440 pounds-feet of torque, both best-in-class numbers, Ford said. It's meant to appeal to customers who tow and haul more than normal. Officials expect a segment-best 2,020-pound payload and 11,400 pounds of trailer towing capacity. The engine will be mated with Ford's 10-speed transmission introduced on the 2017 F-150. Truck enthusiasts have clamored for a diesel option, and some rivals have offered diesels on full-size and mid-size pickups. But Ford insists it's not lagging the competition. Ford says it expects the diesel engine to account for roughly 5% of retail sales. It'll cost between $2,400 and $4,000 more than other F-150 engines. Retail customers may get the diesel on 3 highest F-150 trims, the Lariat, King Ranch, and Platinum. Fleet customers may order a diesel in the less expensive XL and XLT trims. The diesel will be offered on the 4x4 and 4x2 versions of the Super Cab and Super Crew. Dealers will begin taking orders for the diesel F-150 in mid-January. The trucks will be delivered in the spring. The engine, made in England, is a variant of the Lion diesel that Ford builds for use in the Land Rover and Jaguar vehicles. How bad could that be? Another recall front, Ford Motor Company said last Thursday it had confirmed a second death in an older pickup truck caused by a defective Takata airbag inflator, and it urged 2,900 owners in North America to stop driving immediately until they can get replacement parts. The second largest U.S. automaker said it confirmed in late December that a July 2017 crash death in West Virginia and a 2006 Ford Ranger was caused by a defective Takata inflator. It previously reported a similar death in South Carolina that had occurred in December of 2015. Ford said both Takata deaths occurred with inflators built on the same day installed in 2006 Ranger pickups. At least 21 deaths worldwide have been linked to the Takata inflators that can rupture and send deadly metal fragments into the driver's body. The faulty inflators have led to the largest automotive recall in history. The other 19 deaths have occurred in Honda Motor Corporation vehicles, most of which were in the United States. Ford issued a new recall for automobiles that had been previously recalled in 2016. Of those 391,000 2004 to 2006 Ranger vehicles, the new recall announcement on Thursday affects 2,900 vehicles. These include 2,700 in the United States and nearly 200 in Canada. The new recall will allow for identification of the 2,900 owners in the highest risk pool. A Mazda Motor Corporation spokesman said Thursday the company would conduct a similar recall and have and stop drive warning for some 2006 Mazda B Series trucks which were built by Ford and are similar to the Ranger. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration urged owners to heed Ford's warning. It's extremely important that all high-risk airbags are tracked down and replaced immediately, NHTSA spokesman Karen Aldana said. Ford said it would pay to have vehicles towed to dealerships or send mobile repair teams to owners' homes and provide free loaners if needed. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.